Are professional sports actually healthy and good for longevity? Is it actually amazing to be a professional athlete? Again, from the standpoint of your health, that's what we're gonna cover in this video, and the answer actually might surprise you. Before we go into the video, click the subscribe button below, because on this channel, you're gonna learn how to build a strong, sexy, high-performing physique as a successful entrepreneur without the BS like starvation cardio, absolutely have to do hours of cardio, or cutting out carbs, which is all the things you've heard that are not true. So click that subscribe button below and let's go. What is up, everybody? This is Coach Amir from 7figurebody.com, and in today's video, we're going to talk about a topic that is a lot of time not that pleasant, because a lot of people either don't believe it or they don't want to hear it, and that is professional sports are not healthy. Because please remember, there's nothing healthy and good for a professional athlete. It's all about the result. It's all about the win. It's all about basically just winning. That's the name of the game. And what's the price that athletes pay for this? It's a lot of times exactly what most people think is good for them. It's their health, but it's not at all healthy. So I was a professional athlete for 4.5, 5 years. I was a professional triathlete. And as a professional athlete, here's how that looks like. You wake up in the morning, you eat or have a little snack. As a professional triathlete, at least, you go swim. And then I come back, rest a little bit, try to, chill a little bit, fuel, which means eat. And then we go for a bike ride. And then I come back, try to take a nap, eat, and then again, I go for a run. A lot of times this run and swim times can switch, but usually midday is the cycling, usually. And basically, after that last workout of the day, you eat and go to bed. And this is your life all day, every day, for all the years that you do this. Now, that in itself, not that, it's like, I wouldn't say that in itself is not that healthy. It's just way too much exercise that anybody with a, job, a family, a business, kids can actually do in any sustainable way, because all of these things, if not, like probably most of them, if not all of them, are going to suffer in the name of your, whatever the sport you're doing very seriously, or especially as a professional athlete, right? So all of these things will suffer. But when it comes to your actual health, you are constantly either getting injured or you are getting sick because your immune system is shot from too much exercise, or even if you're not doing too much exercise, you're actually controlling the amounts of it to be right at where your body can still handle, but things in life, like a little bit stress of life, actually come and kick your, already lower immune system in the butt, and you get sick or injured. Plus, let's talk about, for example, triathlon. I started in triathlon as doing sprints and Olympic distance, which are very, very short races, like 1 to 2 hours. 1-ish hour is a sprint, 2-ish hours is a Olympic distance. Of course, if there's a lot of hills, it can be a bit longer. On a bike ride, it can be a little longer. But generally, it's hour to too long. I consider this to be very, very short races. That means you're basically going all out for a full hour. Like, your heart rate is as high as it can be. You're at your maximum heart rate and maximally pushing everything. Your heart, like all the, muscles, tendons, ligaments, all the supportive tissues in your body, everything is being pushed to the limit. And this is just the races. You're also doing this all the time in your training. When you're a couple of times a week, you're doing the highest, all out. This is actually what makes you faster. So this is not healthy at this level. So if I was to construct a program, let's say for somebody to, for example, now I'm 39 years old, I don't really care about any of this. I don't care how much I deadlift. I don't care how fast I can run a 5K. None of this really matters. Like, why would it? I'm not a competitive athlete. I don't care about it. What I want is to be healthy and injury free. In that regard, I will not be doing, 4 all-out running sessions every week, 3 cycling sessions that are all out. Like, I will just do all these sports at a normal, kind of like moderate to let's say a little bit higher intensity, and in a very controlled amounts, because too much cardio is absolutely not good for you in many ways. There's a lot of research on this lately. It's been showing anywhere from, like, if you go over 8 to 10 hours of cardio a week, it's definitely too much. You start to have negative effects from that on all kinds of systems in the body. So too much is definitely not a good thing. So as a professional athlete, you're always doing too much according to, like, what's actually good for your health. You're doing way more than that, like way more than that. And of course, all of this is not even mentioning all the PED use, which is you guys know, performance enhancement drugs are basically the norm in professional sports. Basically, at this point, I think professional domino players or chess players are doped out of their mind with everything. So if anybody thinks that, any professional football player, soccer player, like runner or anybody out there that's a professional athlete at a really high level is not on all the steroids, PEDs, and whatever else, you're just fooling yourself. They absolutely are. Yes, is there a bunch of testing? Of course, all of these tests can be relatively easily fixed, meaning you pass the test. And of course, don't forget that a lot of times a lot of athletes are caught every single year, and because of that, they don't compete. But that's kind of like, nobody wants to say that all the cyclists in the Tour de France are doped out of their mind. All the bodybuilders or the professional, American football players, probably tennis players too, runners, like everybody's on all the steroids, because if you're not, somebody else who is, which is everybody, is going to leave you in the dust. You're going to be last. By the way, this is the reason why I stopped stopped being a professional athlete. I retired from professional sports when I realized after 4 years of being a professional athlete at a very small level, in a small country like Bosnia, I was a national champion, whatever. But once I started seeing that in order for me to go to international level, I needed to start taking everything. I was like, hey, as a pharmacist, as a thinking person and an entrepreneur, I can't be putting my health in jeopardy and taking all this stuff just for some medal or whatever it is. So I retired from sports and never looked back. And I would do the same thing again, absolutely, probably just sooner, simply because all the years that I spent there, while they were fun, they definitely, I got a lot of injuries, a lot of crashes on the bike, and certainly your heart is pushed to that level where if you're doing a 2-hour all-out race where your heart rate is the absolute maximum it can be, you're literally creating like micro ruptures and damage to your heart when you're doing it for that much and that long. It's just unnecessary. Like a regular person who's looking at just health and longevity, they will never need to do this. And actually, not only they don't need to do this, they need to not do this if they're looking at health and longevity, because that's way too much. So guys, please remember, we all look at, professional athletes as like, this is the ultimate peak of the achievement when it comes to performance and results, and it is. But professional sports and health are completely different things. They are not in any way on the same path. They're actually opposite. So if you think about what the professional athlete does, which is work out way too much, work out with high intensity for very long times, way more than is healthier, basically neglect everything else. They're constantly injured, constantly sick, and they also, a lot of times, more often than not, take all the illegal, performance enhancing drugs that even more, just create higher risks of pretty much everything, heart attacks, high blood pressure, and everything else on their body. And all of that, nobody really cares, because once that athlete is literally like a machine, takes you, washes you out, and spits you out, hey, there's another one. There's like 10,000 other ones that want to do the same thing. So you are like pushed out, and the next one comes in, and the cycle repeats. So as an athlete, you're basically very, very expendable. You're just a, like I remember a lot of times, in the one of these shows about American football players, and it's some kind of draft pick or whatever it is. So there's like 500 of them comes to 18-year-olds. They're all like big and strong, all they're on steroids, whatever, and they basically pick, I don't know, 30 or whatever, and the rest, goodbye. These 30 go by and they probably have a chance of getting good contracts, making money, etc. So this is their one shot. After that, if it doesn't succeed, they're probably going to end up having some awful, terrible job they're going to hate. So they're like, I don't really care what happens to my health. If I can have several years of being a pro and making $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $5 million, whatever, awesome. Right? That's much better than working at McDonald's flipping burgers for the next 40 years. So when you look at it that way, that's unfortunately for a lot of these athletes, that is the faith, right? They have either very small chance of becoming that something, or they're going to have some terrible job that they hate for the rest of their lives. They're like, hey, I'll take whatever, right? So that's, a couple of things that I wanted to share, because a lot of people don't think that this is true, or they don't want to believe it when they hear it, because they're like, no, being a professional athlete is awesome. It's very healthy and good because you're so strong and you can perform at a high level. Yes, but also don't forget that most of these athletes, when they're done with their career, which that's just several years usually, and yeah, somebody can have a 10, 15-year career, sure, but the time when you cross kind of like mid-30s and beyond that, like 37, like 36, 37, usually you're done with whatever sport you're doing. And then what do you do for the rest of your life? A lot of times, even the money they made, they spend it all. So most of them end up being broke. A lot of times they get a lot of, weight gain, they get overweight and very, very unhealthy, like a year, 2, 3 after they retire from that sport. So a lot of times it doesn't actually end up being a good outcome for them either way. So anyways, just wanted to share that. Very interesting topic. Get a lot of questions about this. Is it actually healthy to be, a professional athlete? So hope this video and the answers I gave you a little bit more than a different perspective on all of this. So that's why I say much, much, much better to make your money in your life and everything you want by using your brain, your skills, rather than using your body by doing some kind of physical thing that you get rewarded for. Not to say that doing sports is not amazing, it absolutely is, but I would actually prefer for somebody's health and longevity and happiness too, to actually not be a professional athlete, because I'll tell you, I have never been happier in my life than I am now, from all other reasons, but also because I enjoy sports now more than I've ever enjoyed them when I was in the pro years, simply because back then it's all about, I gotta be faster, like I'm just my head down, like go, go, go. And now when I'm biking, I'm like, hey, look, there's a bird. I can stop whenever I want. If I'm done with 60-mile, bike ride and I just want to go back home, I go back home. Back then, it's like you're following because you're thinking, here's my training plan. I got to follow it like gospel, because if I don't do this, somebody else is doing it, so they're going to beat me at the next race, etc., etc. It creates a lot of depression, and even if you win, they say if you win gold medal, whatever, like Olympic gold medalists, our athletes are very known for being depressed right after that, because what do you do after you win a gold medal at the Olympic Games? What's more? They think they've crossed whatever they spent their whole lives trying to get there. Once they did, they're like, what now? Like, I'm 28 years old. What do I do with the rest of my life? Everything I do is going to be less than this, so it's going to suck. They get depressed a lot. So I'll tell you, when I never did get depressed, because I kind of just, from the early age, had good mentors and good people around me to tell me that it's not really about the time or, the timing of that race. And it's about, or me winning whatever race, it's about being faster than you did last time. If you have that progression, you're good. I focused on that, and I think that's what got me to be happy. And then luckily after 4 years or so, I basically stopped and got out of it when I realized the only way forward is to actually start taking PEDs, EPO, blood, whatever other thing. I'm like, yeah, thanks. I don't want to do that. So anyways, without further ado, thank you guys for watching. Hope you find this video interesting. If you did, please like and click the like and share button below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for your time. I hope it was worth your attention, and see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.